Alright, how are we doing? Cons here, bringing you episode 22 of Kenshi Age of Blood and Sand Iron Man playthrough. To start this episode off, we've got Lidus run over to the way station, just trying to sell a few bits off and buy some things that we can't produce ourselves. So at the moment we can't produce fabric, so he's buying up some fabric. We need electrical components, and we're also going to get some cotton, so hopefully we can build our own cotton farms so we can start getting some cotton production on, so we don't have to worry about fabric. What we're going to do, because we have lost a bunch of hives in the last few episodes, we're going to need to go across to the Adventurers Guild. At the Adventurers Guild, we're going to be able to get the Adventurers Caravan to come into our base and drop off a bunch of recruits for us. And we have a Wandering Oni coming into our base. These guys are super tanky, super annoying, but at the moment they are more like a delivery system for medikits and robotics kits, it would seem. So we could take one down. We got the 5 attack slots, so we can just gang up on them. Their dexterity isn't very good, but super high strength. But it means we can just chain lock them, and my guys will slowly and very slowly beat them down. Be good training for them, and also they will drop, like I said, the health kits and the robotic repair kits, which is quite useful for us at the moment as we can't produce them ourselves. If a group of 16 on the other hand came across, they could take on, well, they'd take out the whole colony and be able to kidnap 16 people, which would be super annoying, because once they get taken into Virgin to the tower, it's pretty much impossible to get your guys back. But we do have Lidus making his way to the Adventurers Guild. Problem at the moment, I'm having a little bit of issue with the navigation mesh, so I'm having to micro Lidus a bit more than I would like. Not a massive problem, I have reset it, but it hasn't done too much. But we'll get him to the Adventurers Guild. Once we're in there, we'll just talk to the Adventurer Guild, for like a better term, their liaison, and we'll just say we want the hivers, we want them sent to our base, and we'll pay the 5,000 cats for that. So in about a day or so, the Adventurers Guild recruit caravan will arrive at our base, and then we'll be able to go through and see if we want to recruit any of those hivers. Now this is interesting. So we've got a group of sailback poachers coming through our base. This is the second lot that we've seen. The first lot was fighting the Holy Nation when the Holy Nation assaulted us, and then it was this lot, but we haven't seen them before. And the other side is we're not getting the same massive hordes of pack bulls or starving bandits showing up to our base. So what I'm thinking is the spawns in this area must have changed. That's why we're getting new things coming through. Also, we're not getting as many of the Holy Nation caravans coming about, which is kind of annoying because they were useful for the animal levers, the meat and the electrical components, plus all of the food. So I'm going to be very interested to see, as the game carries on changing, what ends up happening to the spawns in the area around our base. But we now have the Adventurers Guild show up. Now this is super good, considering the amount of hivers we have lost in the last few episodes. We need to get our numbers back up, we need to get our production going, and we need to be in a situation where we can produce our own weapons and armour. Once we're in a situation where we can do that, we are on for a winner. So we get the princes with easy names, so like Heavy and Armourer and things like that, just so we can see what they are at a glance. And then we're going to need a bunch of hive drones. Not that there's that many, but we can always do a slave break and get a bunch more. The soldier drones on the other side, they are super important, yes, but if you lose a soldier drone, it's not as much of a hit as losing my labour corps or my smiths. Because a drone, well, a soldier drone will basically come down to how good is their armour, how good is their weapon, and how long have they been alive, to like figure out their value. Whereas a prince, if I lose a prince, then that affects like everything else on my equipment side. So obviously I don't want to lose those. And then when it comes to the hives, even if it seems like it's a unimportant hive, if you lose them, that can mess up like your logistics chain. So all of a sudden someone's not hauling something or someone's not manning a machine, and then eventually you run out of resources and then you have to go back and find it. It's just a little bit more annoying than it needs to be. So ideally we will have way more hive worker drones because that's what we need, and then plenty of princes, so even if someone does go down, we can replace them until someone else is then trained up again. And then the soldier drones, the more of them we can have, the better it's going to be, because obviously we're going to be fighting big armies real soon. So we need just the extra manpower and numbers to stop us getting overrun, because it kind of doesn't matter how good you guys are. If the 5 attack slots are filled, you're in for a bad day. We are just going to put the hives to where we want them to be in the squads, so then they're easier to manage. But going back to the other bit, we need loads and loads of hive soldier drones. But we're going to need the supply chain set up behind the hive soldier drones so that we can actually equip them, because a hive soldier drone by itself, whilst not being trained, not being equipped and not being armed, isn't super useful. So we could have loads of them, but they'd be kind of pointless. So we need to get the right balance of how many soldier drones do we have to the amount of princes and hive workers. So it's not really a balancing act, it's not that complicated, just make sure you have a lot of everything and you're always going to do alright. Quantity has a quality of its own, I believe is the quote. So the more stuff we get, the easier this is going to be. But also this is the Age of Blood and Sand, so it probably still will not be enough. This is particularly difficult. But here, what we are doing is we're going in and we're finding those Holy Nation guys, and we're going to take them to the Black Desert City and drop them in the acid as revenge for killing off all of our other hives, because that's what they deserve. But it's looking like it's empty, which is a little bit annoying. Like, I really wanted that revenge. I just had to make sure I had enough guys to be able to pull it off and do it in one trip. But yeah, they're not there. Annoying. That was it's going to be a beautiful moment of revenge. I was going to enjoy that in a slightly twisted way, but that would have been funny. Just taking all the Holy Nation and then dropping them in the desert so they just dissolve. I'm not evil, I promise. But then again, they're also going to be surrounded by skellies, and we know how much the Holy Nation loves skellies, so I think for Okran they would have had a nice time. They really wouldn't have. It would have sucked. But details. I am sure we will have a chance to find some more Holy Nation and just be able to return the favour onto them, which this lot of Holy Nation missed. So it's not a big deal. We will get our revenge, and this will just be the prelude to our slow dismemberment of the Holy Nation. Bit by bit, we are gonna take down the Holy Nation and kill each and every one of those xenophobic fanatics for starting a war they couldn't finish. I mean, they could have finished it right at the start. They definitely would have been able to wipe us out. Even now they can still wipe us out, but they have, which is their mistake. They don't think we're a big enough threat, so they're sending little scouting parties over, nothing too much, little Holy Nation assaults. Woo! Scary. But it's not going to be long. I mean, I reckon at the rate we're going, 3 or 4 episodes, we will not need to worry about the Holy Nation attacks coming in. When they launch their, I think it's the Wrath of God, that will be their last. Huzzah! But that's not going to save them. We will be able to beat that back, because that won't be for a while, and by the time it comes, if we carry on growing like we are, we'll be able to beat that down easy, and then straight after just launch a counter attack. I think we'll take out Stoke first. That will be the first one to go. And then, or maybe Bad Teeth, because Bad Teeth is closest. And then we'll focus on the 2 Inquisitors, and then we'll take the towns, and then we'll take out the Lord Phoenix himself. And we hope in that bit we have enough hive culture books so that we can start producing our own hive armor, because as soon as we go to war with the Western hive, we won't be able to get any more. Well, we will, but very slowly, and it's really tedious, and you need a lot of them, and it's only the Western hive that actually sell a lot of the books. So funny that we're going to need quite a few. But without the hive armor, hive soldier drones really aren't viable soldier classes, but they will be when we get the stuff, so that is going to be fun. But for now, we are going to look into getting some wheat straw farms up. The reason for this is pretty simple. We haven't got much wheat straw and our colony's growing. So we're going to need to be able to feed ourselves real soon, because we're not going to be able to rely on other animals walking past to get the food off. So we get a couple small farms on the go, then they'll produce more wheat straw. With those we build other farms, and then we build larger farms and so on and so forth. And then we'll have a continuous food supply coming in, which will be ideal. But we got some hungry bandits that have decided to get a little bit too close to the base, so just sent Lidus out to fight them. Ideally what will happen is the rest of my hive soldier drones will be close enough so they'll aggro in as well, and they'll get in the fight. This is going to be more important for my newer soldier drones, because I haven't got much fighting practice yet and they'll have virtually no skills. So going in against a starving bandit will be good for them. Won't need to worry about them losing limbs or anything like that. So that's good, that's definitely a bonus going in. And also the starving bandits, because of the gen mod, well the hard gen mod I've put on, their they got better stats than what a starving bandit normally would have. So as a result, they are worthwhile training against, especially for a low level character. Obviously, the longer you can hold off in the fight, the more stats you'll get. And then that means when they fight someone that can actually fight back properly, they won't go down instantly, because going down, yeah, that's good for your toughness, but it doesn't really help the rest of your stats all that much. So the more we can get practice in, the more fights we can get in, and all of that stuff, the better it's going to be, because then that means when they do need to fight, they're going to be able to add something to the fight instead of just getting wiped out straight away like they are at the moment. But right here, what we've got is we've got Lidus going off because we are looking for a crocodile. I want one as a pet because I think they look super cool, and I'm super interested to see how big they'll be when they become elders instead of just adults. So the idea here is going to be real simple. We're going to keep going in and trying to engage them, but then kiting back. So what we want to do is we want to only pull one of them. I don't really think fighting two of them is the best of ideas because they're pretty tough. But if I can just pull one away and then only fight one at the time, then I'll be able to take it out quite easy and not worry about the two of them fighting me at the same time, because their bleed damage they get off and the amount of attack they got with the speed, they are pretty dangerous. But sweet, we got one by itself, so we're going to go in, knock it out. Now we knocked it out, cool. And then we're just going to heal it up. Once we've stopped the bleeding and we think it's going to be okay, we'll simply just pick it up and then we'll carry it back to the base. In the last episode, I went and built a cage, and we'll put it in the cage once it's about to regain its consciousness. Then when it comes around, we can simply try to recruit it. Turns out in the Age of Blood and Sand mod pack, the Tame Beasties mod was in there. So I'm just hoping that the Orion Crocodile is supported in that mod. But I believe that it should be, so that will be pretty fantastic. Our own pet crocodile. I'm going to look forward to see how big and scary it is when it becomes an elder. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that seems like a good time to end the episode. I've been Konzi, and thank you very much for watching episode 22 of Kenshi Age of Blood and Sand, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.